Hey fellas, is I Know What You Did Last Summer underrated? I Know What You Did Last Summer is a 1997 horror movie starring Jennifer Love Hewitt and Fred and Daphne from Scooby-Doo. The movie is about a bunch of teens getting picked off one by one. It's a slasher. You know how those work. This movie is pretty much a sister film to 1996's Scream. While Scream is often thought of as a staple of the genre, I Know What You Did Last Summer is mostly left out of that conversation. But does it deserve to be forgotten, or should we be plodding for it to make a comeback? To find that out, we're gonna have to take a look at the film. So without further ado, fellas and fellettes, my name is Stache, and this is I Know What You Did Last Summer. We open on some credits over a shot of the ocean with some sick-ass music playing while we see the coastline. On that coastline, we see some guy sitting on the edge with some pendant. Ooh, and it spins. Cut to the town of Southport where we see the annual beauty pageant. This girl's name is Helen, and her friends watching are named Ray, Julie, and her boyfriend, Barry. Though she's in the beauty pageant, Helen isn't just looks. She's an artist who plans on moving to the big city to pursue her dreams, showing that behind those beautiful eyes, there's a pretty nice brain.
I'm on sexist overload as it is. Kill the commentary.
Fine, okay. Anyway, Helen wins, and to celebrate, her friends take her for a drive. After, we get a bunch of lore. Okay, I'll make it quick. Helen has a sister named Elsa. Elsa's a total bitch. Julie wants to be a lawyer. This random Max is trying to get with Julie. Barry wants to be on the Sealers, and Julie's whole friend group is leaving after the summer. Speaking of her whole friend group, they are on the beach right now telling you the story of a killer with a hook for a hand that I'm sure will not be important for the rest of the plot. That's a fucking workout. On that drive, everyone dicks around while they're on that landscape from the beginning. You know where that guy was? Yeah, that one. Barry's car's fucked and his dad's gonna freak his ass. His words.
My dad's gonna freak my ass!
But they have bigger problems. Well, not physically bigger. They killed a guy. Yeah, you did. They decide that they can't call the cops for like a gazillion different reasons that would ruin their hopes and dreams, so they do what any responsible person would do and make an anonymous call to the proper authorities, and they dump the body. He had a tattoo, by the way. Maybe he really died from ink poisoning. No, the car thing makes more sense. Oh, look, he dropped his pendant. A year later, Julie leaves college for the summer and goes back home to Southport. She walks around her house as her mom gives Julie a letter addressed to her. Inside, she finds a movie recommendation. Ooh, I gotta check that one out. Julie gets nervous, maybe because last summer she killed a guy. So nervous that she goes to find Helen and sees that she didn't make it to the city. She asks about the note, but Helen doesn't know anything, so they go to talk to Barry. He doesn't know about the note, but he does know that him and Helen aren't together anymore. And breakups must be contagious because Julie and Ray aren't together anymore either. Sheesh. Can't get much worse than this. Anyway, Max gets fucking murdered as Barry finishes up a workout. He goes to the locker room to change and finds a picture of his car that says, I know. He looks around but can't find anyone until he goes outside and sees that his car was stolen. He chases after it, but the car turns around and runs him over. After running him over, the driver comes out and we see that it's a guy with a hook for a hand. Now, why does that sound familiar? Barry survives and ends up in the hospital, so the next day everybody goes to see him, and later, Julie nerds out and finds out that the guy they hit was named David Egan. Apparently, he was on that ledge in the beginning because he accidentally killed his girlfriend a year earlier, and it was the anniversary of her death. The tattoo that he had was of her name. Julie also finds out where his mom lives, so she takes Helen to go see them. What are they gonna do? Go ring the doorbell and say that they killed her son?
I mean, we're just gonna ring the doorbell and say we killed your son and we're in the neighborhood, so...
That's what I'm saying. They meet David's sister, Missy, who has a weirdly familiar outfit. Don't look too much into that because they leave right after Missy tells them about a guy named Billy Blue. Julie takes Helen home and she walks in as the fisherman, yes, that's the killer's name, stalks around to pad out the runtime. Helen goes to sleep and wakes up the next morning to find that the killer fucked up her hair, but more importantly, he committed the monstrous and awful act of dirtying her mirror. Helen calls Julie and she tries to come over to help, but she finds Max's dead body in her trunk. And he has crabs? You gotta get that checked out, man. She brings Helen and Barry over to look, but Max disappeared.
Don't even. He was there, goddammit, and he was wearing your jacket, Barry.
Where'd he go? Did the crabs carry him away?
After that wise-ass comment, Julie freaks out some more and gives us the most iconic moment in the movie.
Out there, and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
They go to yell at Ray because Barry thinks he's the killer for some reason, but I'm only including this scene for this one clip.
What are you talking about? Drop the act. You killed Max. You took my jacket.
Why is he so mad about a jacket? People are dying, dude. Shit goes down and yada yada. Julie takes Elsa's yearbook to Missy so she could point out Billy Blue. Helen's in some kind of beauty parade. And Barry's...
I'll pound his ass.
Hey, you do you, man. Helen and Barry look for the killer at the parade for 2 Very different reasons, apparently, as Julie goes to Missy's and tells her everything about how she killed her brother and even mentions the tattoo. But Missy says that David didn't have a tattoo. Julie is so stunned by that information that she runs away right into a jump cut to this year's beauty pageant. Helen makes a guest appearance since she won last year, and Barry watches from the same balcony, but I hope he's hungry for some Gordons because the fisherman's here, and Helen screams and begs for someone to help as Barry is killed. When they go up to look for Barry, both him and the killer are gone. All that's left is the shot that I fuck with heavy. Helen's so shaken up by that a cop has to give her a ride home, but on the way he stops to check on this strangely killer-shaped man working on his car. Oh shit, it's the killer! He kills the cop and goes after Helen as Julie finds out that David's girlfriend, the one he killed, had a dad. Lucky. Her dad's name was Benjamin, and he was a fisherman. Wow, that's so unrelated, Julie. We have a movie to film here, dude. Anyway, Helen gets chased by the fisherman all the way to the shop that both her and her sister work in. She makes it in and locks the door, but before her sister could lock the second door, the killer makes it inside and guts her like a fish. Helen overhears this and looks around, only to get attacked, but escapes through this pulley elevator thing and jumps out of a window as the fisherman oroforms. Fireworks go off as Helen escapes and lives to see another day. Or not. The fisherman corners and kills Helen as the sound of her struggles are drowned out by the fireworks and the band. All while I'm trying to figure out why she stopped running. Julie goes to talk to Ray and tells him that they didn't kill David Egan, they killed Susie's father. What? Here, to sum everything up, Ray's gonna tell you exactly what happened.
You think this Willis guy killed David, then we killed him?
Yeah, that. So she thinks Ben's the killer for like 2 seconds before switching up and thinking Ray's the killer and running away. Girl, pick a man. Ray gets his shit rocked by this random old man. Random old people always coming out of nowhere and serve no plot relevance, especially when they have a shrine dedicated to the main cast of characters. Oh, and he has the pendant from the beginning. He says that he's the killer and yada yada. Julie runs away and sees that the boat she's on has left the dock. Ray follows and makes it aboard to fight the fisherman as Julie does a whole bunch of useless shit until she finds some dead bodies. The fisherman finds her, but Ray knocks his ass out with a hook thing before the two reunite just in time for Ben to wake up. He tries to kill Julie one last time, but gets caught in some ropes and is thrown overboard. And just like that, his reign of terror is over. Julie and Ray realize that they never actually killed anyone and that they still love each other. And just like that, it's been another year. I promise I didn't cut anything out. That's just how the movie is. Julie's back in college and gets another letter. Inside that letter is a party invite. Aw man, I could've used another movie recommendation. Julie's relieved and tries to take a shower, but there's a message waiting for her on the mirror. She looks around and sees that the movie's almost over, so it's time for a jump scare, and that's it. Overall, I Know What You Did Last Summer is a decent movie. It's by no means as good as Scream, despite what Julie would have you thinking, but it's not bad. The acting's pretty good, and you could tell the main cast was enjoying themselves. The kills are alright, but really aren't that complicated or intense. Speaking of which, if you want a good horror film with minimal gore and some tense scenes, this is your movie. Seriously, this movie has so much tension, it's like a chiropractor's wet dream in here. That being said, it's not all peaches and cream. You see what I did there? I feel like once you get an hour into this movie, the main characters are kind of sidelined. They were all such deep and well fleshed out characters, but that's all forgotten by the second half. For example, Helen and Barry had these moments where it looked like they were starting to love each other again, only for them to get sent back to the lobby 2 minutes later. And this issue hurts characters like Julie, especially because she had a decent character arc lined up right there, but it ended up being abandoned so that she could do that. Also, I just want to say, I hate when whodunit horror movies go the cheap route and make the killer the unmentioned and unseen relative of some random bozo who died. I know that sounds very specific, but it happens way too much. So, knowing all that, I'd say that I Know What You Did Last Summer is pretty underrated, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna give it a 72 out of 100 on the Stache-ometer. In mustache terms, that's pretty well groomed. It's decently tense, scary, and fun, but it has its issues, don't we all? And by we, I mean you guys, because I'm perfect. Fun fact, the body cast that was used when Max is found in the trunk was so realistic that it ended up traumatizing Jennifer Love Hewitt so much that she needed to have Max's actor Johnny the fucking guy from Big Bang Theory talk to her over the phone in order to be convinced that it wasn't really him. Poor girl. It sucks when something bad happens, but it's great to have people there to reassure you. Like how I can reassure you that you won't regret pressing that subscribe button. Seriously though, if you made it this far, you either liked the video or you just hit someone and have bigger things to deal with right now. Either way, like and subscribe. You know, personally, I do feel like this movie needs more love. Yeah, it's a classic, but it's just not it, you know? People fiend for Scream and Ghostface, but where's the love for the fisherman? If you could take one thing from this video, I'd want you to subscribe, but I'd also want you to check out this movie for yourself. I'll let you go do that, but until then, watch for crabs, keep your eyes on the road, and comment your thoughts down below. I'll see you next time. Stache out.